what are some things you would recommend to a bride to be aware of that may have surprised you?
Oh gosh. I made a little list of things. Facebook magic. Okay, this is one thing going into it. I didn't know. I've never like been one of those people that's like planned my wedding out since I was little. So there was, I'm organized and like have had close friends get married. So there was a lot of things I did know, but on a planning aspect at an all-inclusive, I didn't and wasn't aware. I didn't know and wasn't aware of vendor fees and outside vendor fees. Those start to add up. The thing about the Hyatt is they have a preferred list of vendors. If you go off of that preferred list of vendors or when these outside vendor fees come into play, from what I've heard, the Hyatt Zilara Cap Cana does have a higher vendor fee than a lot of hotels. I think the reason behind that, and Andrea can tell me if this is right or not, it's to deter you from using outside vendors because the vendor relationships that they have, they know that they work out smoothly because they use them all the time. I used an outside hair girl, like I said. I used an outside DJ who also did my lighting. And there was one other thing. I can't remember what it was. So the vendor fees added up pretty quickly there. But for me, it ended up being worth it because the DJ had a less expensive package option than the Hyatt did. So even having that outside vendor fee did not make him any more expensive than the Hyatt would have been for those DJ services. That being said, that might not make sense if you aren't in the planning process yet. I've said it, can't say it enough. The Facebook group of brides at Zilara Ziva are extremely helpful. There's like 30 past brides, 20 future brides, and talking to those other brides was like a priceless tool to have in your pocket because they can give you tips and tricks on what worked for them, vendors they went through. Like I would have never known to hire an outside DJ if I wanted more of a party versus using the DJ that's on property. Like there's just different things that different brides look for that these past brides were really able to help out with. So that was one thing, the outside vendor fee. Um, I, I wish I would have known to use the wedding department at that specific resort because that would have saved me thousands of dollars on the wedding planner I hired on the outside. Um, let's see what else. I can't even think of what else.
Well, and just keep in mind, a lot of couples want to add an extra hour on, like the reception packages
Yes.
are normally 3 hours. Just about every couple I work with, they add an extra hour on. So you have to consider, that's going to be an additional cost, but it's something you want to think about in advance because they have to obviously have the bar open, staff there. You might have to pay that DJ an additional hour. So
And
there's
we did that, all those things. And it was worth it. Like we wanted a party vibe and past brides had all told me that they extended that extra hour. And honestly, I could have done another hour if time would have allowed. But yes, the things add up quickly. That is the overall thing I can tell you. So have a budget in mind and add extra to it and work backwards from it. Like I ended up taking a lot of things out at the end. I started asking other friends that had gotten married. I'm like, what is one thing you wish you would have known? And they're like, nobody's looking at your signs that you're spending money on. Nobody's looking at the detailed napkin rings on there. There were just certain things that I knew at the end of the day I wanted to save money on that and spend it on the party, but that was, a personal preference. The other thing, oh, I just lost my train of thought. It was it'll come back to me. But just learning things that might not matter at the end of the day and spending the money on things that are important. The photography package, your hair and makeup, um, you know, the DJ if you want that experience. But at the Hyatt, things can add up quickly. So start big and work backwards.